Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Monday, you know what that means. It's another live game review. It's another live game review of a game that we've been absolutely battered in and we haven't bothered turning up in. Possibly the final straw for Marco Silva. I think we all feel that it has to be now. We're going to talk about the 2-0 defeat to Norwich at Goodison Park today. Big thanks to everybody that was waiting to watch the live stream. We are live now. I do apologise that it's a little bit later than it usually is. I had a driving lesson and some bits to do after work, so unfortunately I had to put it to 7:30. But we're here anyway. We're going to talk about the game and we're also going to talk about Marco Silva because I think it needs addressing. As soon as the club haven't come out and said absolutely anything in 48 hours, and I think that's for a couple of reasons. One of them is because they haven't got anything to say. I don't think there's been much movement in terms of getting Marco Silva out the door and bringing in possible replacements, despite all of the rumours that we'll talk about later on in the stream. And two, because they know anything that they tweet is just going to get absolutely rinsed. It's going to get flooded with comments, negative comments about the manager and negative comments about the club. So they're just staying quiet at the minute and the communication is poor. But listen, we're going to talk about, obviously, Silva today because for me, I just feel like they're just... the inevitable is going to happen and they're just waiting for it. Now, I don't know why we're waiting to sack Marco Silva. I read a report straight after the game on Saturday that said, we may wait until after the Leicester game to sack Marco Silva. Now, I don't know whether the board have watched us much this season. I know they were there on Saturday afternoon and they watched that absolutely dreadful performance against Norwich at Goodison Park. But I don't know if the board have paid much attention to our current form and recent form, but we will get absolutely destroyed by Leicester next Sunday. We will get absolutely turned over. So if you're going to sack Marco Silva on the basis that we may lose next week, then you may as well sack Marco Silva now and give whoever the new manager may be time to settle in with the squad, settle in with the team, input a system, and then go and get what you can out of next week's game against Leicester, because after that we've got the Merseyside derby at Anfield on a Wednesday night, and what I don't want is the new manager to come in and their first game managing the club being the Merseyside derby at Anfield and them only having 2 days to prepare for that. And a lot of the preparation with the new manager is introducing themselves, introducing the squad. So to basically have 1 to maybe 2 maximum training sessions before the Merseyside derby at Anfield, for me, it's just throwing a manager in a poison chalice. And I really don't understand why we're waiting to, for the inevitable. Marco Silva very clearly cannot manage this football club. Listen, I've backed Marco Silva this season, and I'm sure a lot of you have. If you've watched the live stream, you'll have known that I've backed Marco Silva. But it becomes a time when he needs to leave the football club. He's not improving us. He's not taking us forward. There's no consistency. There's no stability. There's no momentum because we can't string 2 Premier League wins together, and therefore we cannot simply get momentum. Our away form is absolutely dreadful, and our form at the minute in the Premier League is relegation form, and that's exactly where we are in the Premier League table. We're smack bang in the bottom of all of it, and for me, this decision needs to be made now. And we can have a go at Marco Silva. Obviously, you see my instant match reaction if you did see it. It was massively ranty. It was massively about Marco Silva. But sitting here now, obviously we're on Monday. We're on Monday night now. The game was on Saturday. The game finished at 5:00 on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and we knew from that point on, all of us as a fan base, that Marco Silva shouldn't be the Everton manager, and he needs to lose his job. The club have now had over 48 hours to make a decision and haven't made any decision. So it's about time now that we start addressing the issues at the top. It's about time now that we start addressing the board, because yes, we all know Marco Silva needs to leave the football club. Yes, we know he's not good enough to be manager of Everton Football Club, and he's not and never will be a manager that can take us to that next level. And it's all right, the club talking about ambition, and Denise Barrett-Baxendale coming out and saying we want to be in Champions League places, we want to be challenging for the league, etc., come when the new stadium comes. But we're showing absolutely no ambition at the minute because the man has still got a job and he is still in charge of our football club. If we had any ambition, we'd have done exactly what Tottenham done and gone, you know what, you aren't good enough, that performance isn't good enough, and by 6:15 on Saturday he'd have lost his job. And at this moment now, we'll be doing quite a positive game review, because we wouldn't be necessarily talking about Marco Silva and why he needs to lose his job and why the game wasn't good enough. We'd be sitting here going, well, okay, that game wasn't good enough and it was shite and we were awful, but that was under a different manager, so let's just park that one and let's look forward to whoever the new manager may be and whatever he may be able to bring. But we're not doing that. As typically with Everton, we're sitting on it, we're not making a decision, and we're acting like this has all come as a surprise. We're acting like the last 4, 5, 6 weeks haven't been absolutely dreadful. We're acting like since August we haven't been shocking, because This has been one of the worst starts of the Premier League season I can ever remember as an Evertonian. We have been absolutely wank from August the 10th to the 25th of November, which is where we are now. It's not like the board haven't seen this coming and haven't seen that Marco Silva may need to lose his job come midway through the season. We're now midway through the season, and it's become quite apparent to every single Evertonian that this man isn't going to be able to take us forward. And I don't really understand why we're coming out in general meetings and we're coming out in meetings with the fans and saying, this is our ambition, this is where we want to be, this is where we need to be, etc., etc. But then when you need to show that ambition and when you need to show a pair of bollocks and grow a pair of bollocks and make the tough decisions, we're just not making them. We're too soft as a football club. We've said it numerous times before in terms of on the pitch decisions, and we'll say it again through the board, because now for me this falls on the board. Marco Silva needs to lose his job. We all know that he's not good enough and he's not taking us forward. And you know, that performance on Saturday was absolutely embarrassing. It was dreadful. Norwich come to Goodison Park rock bottom, haven't won an away game all the season, haven't scored a goal since the opening game of the season against Liverpool, and they got demolished in that game as well. All three promoted sides have beaten Everton this season. 2 of them have been at Goodison Park, and all 3 of them have been 2-0. And if I can remember, all 3 games have been quite comfortable for the promoted side. That isn't good enough. This manager isn't good enough and isn't going to take us forward. And you know what? You know, you may see this as a rant, but it's not going to be as emotional as Saturday was. It's not going to be as angry. It's not going to be as high-tempered, because at the end of the day, this falls on the board. Now, we're sitting here on Monday, 7:30 on Monday night. The game was on Saturday night, and nothing's been done, nothing's been said. You're having reports coming out saying that he's going to be sacked before the Leicester game and David Moyes is going to come in. You're having reports coming out that David Unsworth will take over and he's already been sacked. And you're having reports saying that Machiri and Marcel Brands are very, very happy with, you know, him, and they're willing to, you know, stick with him and support him. And for me, it just really signifies the shit state that we are in as a football club at the minute. And, you know, we are absolutely on our arse. We really, really are as a football club, because we can't make a decision from top to bottom. Marco Silva can't make a decision when it comes to the players on the pitch, and the board can't make a decision when it comes to the first team manager, because I don't know whether it's just us fans that are sitting watching the game week in, week out that can clearly see it isn't working. I don't know, but I don't understand how Farhad Mashiri and Bill Kenwright can't have watched that game on Saturday and gone, he needs to go. Because at the end of the day, listen, I haven't been quick to jump on Marco Silva's back this season, and a part of that is because I don't trust the board, and a part of that is because I've sat here and I've said, you know what, maybe he's not the right manager for the job, and maybe he does need to leave. But I really don't trust the board to make the right decision to you know, for the next manager to come in. At this point now, it's not really about the board making the right decision. This manager is going to, you know, drag us into a battle that we do not want to be in, and that's a relegation battle. And the reason we don't want to be in a relegation battle isn't just because, you know, there's obviously the possibility of getting relegated, which of course is a massive reason as to why you wouldn't want to be in a relegation battle, but also because we haven't got the backbone, we haven't got the bollocks, we haven't got the spine to be in a relegation battle where you need to dig deep, where you need to give 110%, where you need to throw tackles in left, right and centre, where you need to get your shorts dirty. Them players haven't got the bollocks to be in a relegation battle. So if we went in a relegation battle, we'll fall to bits, we'll crumble like wet paper like we usually do, and we'd end up in the Championship next season. They need to act now, because this manager needs to leave the football club. He is not good enough, and it is the inevitable. We are just putting off the inevitable, and if that is to put it off till next week for us to be beaten by Leicester and then to be done, I really don't see the point. Because, you know, if Marco Silva stays in charge for the Leicester game, let's say, and then we go and we get beat by Leicester next weekend, and then he's sacked, a lot of fans will be, you know, happy that he's being sacked and happy that he's left the club and relieved. But for me, I'll be looking at it like, why wasn't that done last week when it could have easily been done, and give the new manager a little bit more time to settle into the club, settle into the squad? And that's why I've got a suspect feeling that it is going to be somebody like David Moyes who's going to come in, because that's the feeling that I've got. With Bill Kenwright, I'll know that that's an easy appointment. Of course Moyes wants the job, he's unemployed, it's a massive job in football, of course he'll take it. It will only take one phone call from Bill Kenwright to say to David Moyes, right, you're coming in, and he'd be there in 10 minutes on the doorstep. So that's the only reason as to why I can think that they're putting off the sacking of Marco Silva. Some of the people that are in the run-up, for me, are just mind-boggling, and I wouldn't go anywhere near them with a stick that's full of shit, if I'm being honest with you, and we'll talk about them later on in the live stream. I want to catch up on the live comments, because there's loads of people in there, 83 current viewers, so big thanks to everybody for watching currently. We've got a big, long live stream. We're going to delve into everything about Saturday, and we're going to delve into why, you know, Marco Silva's time's up as Everton manager, in my opinion now. So big thanks to everybody watching. Don't forget to share the stream, get it shared all over your social medias as well. Please do leave a like if you're not enjoying as well. Evertonian TV says, hello Cameron. Ryan says, hello mate. Ryan says, the lack of communication from the club to the player and fans is an effing disgrace. Things need to be changed at the club, starting at board level. Spot on. Good to say, hey, can be if this therapy session still fuming about Saturday. Silva has showed time and time again that he is inept. Enough. Spot on. Vegan Mark says, hi Cameron, come on Blues, get the Charles and Silva out. Rob says, need to aim high and not be all sentimental. Moyes, no, agree. David says, agree. Alex. Max says, who do you want as the new Everton manager? I don't know, to be honest with you. There's not a candidate that I look at and I go, you know what, I would absolutely love you as Everton manager. Maybe Mauricio Pochettino, but let's be honest, it's probably never going to happen. Having said that, we still need to approach him, because what ambition have we got if we don't at least pick up the phone and say, Pochettino, how do you feel about coming and managing Everton? He could laugh down the phone and go, fuck off. I've got me millions of pounds from Tottenham. I'm going on holiday, mate. See you later. But what you get out and just going, no, we just won't approach him because he won't come. CJ says we want Marco Silva out. Rob says we are such a dithering club. Alex has opinions on Hughes. Don't go anywhere near him. Ziad has opinions on Moyes. Depends if you're talking about a permanent basis or an interim basis. Blue Boy Stew, Blue Till I Die says, what about an Arteta and Ferguson double act? Don't know whether it worked, mate. Good Soul says, even if he's given time and wins the next game, we'll inevitably be in the same position down the line. He's got to go now. He seems like a nice bloke, but not cut out for managing Everton Football Club. Spot on, mate. Cal says, currently on holiday, but Silva has to go. Joe, he is ruining the club. We will go down this year unless we sack him. Ziad says, Moyes or Howe? Neither. But if I had to pick it would be David Moyes, and I'll talk about that in a second. Rob says, only us can get a new owner with shitloads of money and become worse for it. Spot on. Alex says, the Ziad guy is definitely from Norway. Rob says, Arteta and Kale for me, proven winner. Would never happen though. Ziad says 40 views, Cam. People want to rant, they do, and I will be ranting today, I can tell you that. Richarlison God says, I feel as if Silva goes, so will Richarlison too. Well, if that's the case, then so be it, mate. No players bigger than the football club, and I'd rather have Richarlison and Silva both leave the club than Richarlison and Silva both be in the club and us be playing in the Championship. Vegan Max, if we beat Leicester, the ball will keep him, just which would be a disaster. I can't help but feel the same. Rob says we won't beat Leicester. Prince Rupert says, I can't see us getting any stability under Silva now, but who do we bring in? Our next fixtures are going to be grim for anyone who comes in. Spot on. David says we need to fill in until May, and that's the time we went hard for. Simeone or Ten Hag. No manager will come into 6 league defeats and a cup exit, which is what we're looking at. Really good point. Charles God says we need Sam back at Cal, by the way. No chance. LCFC Brandon says, hang on, I've lost it. Brendan Ball. I'd love Brendan Rodgers, to be honest with you, but we won't get him. Richarlison, as God says, apparently Moyes Keane wants Silva out. I'm not surprised. David says Ferguson, Unzi, Moyes, Prince, or leave Silva in through the nightmare that's coming. Ian says, do not have Moyes back. Never go backwards. Raf's the man, or Mark Hughes, who we need somebody who has managed a big club. I don't want Mark Hughes. Richarlison, as God says, going to Universal Studios in like an hour, just travelling, so might as well put Cam on. Happy days. What a bet. He's going to Universal Studios and we're sitting here having to talk about Everton in the grim rain. Jealous of you, mate, I'm jealous of you. David says the women have more balls than the men's team. Good Soul says, typical of Everton, we piss about whilst other clubs, Spurs, get on with making decisions and we get left behind. Mike says, Silva doesn't need to go, but the players are not turning up, Cam. They were shite. Spot on. LCFC Boyer says, hope Silva is here Saturday. We don't. Hernandez says, is anyone really surprised that we have no spine? Maybe the club is just going to let Silva be here till the end of the December, so we don't hate the interim manager after losing all the matches in December. David says F off LCFC. Alex says the suggestion of Hughes makes me sick. It does to me as well. Hernandez says if you're here, make sure you give Cam a like. Amazing content. Thank you very much. Ian Martin Everton 1968 says Richarlison could go in the winter window. He does not look happy. Fair point. Matt says it's as much the players. Silva is a problem, but we have shit houses running through the club top to bottom. Hard to disagree with that. Alex says we could easily lose 5 in a row. We could. Jack says hi mate. David says not supporting Ian, not surprising Ian, he won't come. He won't be the only one either with the Euros coming up. Yeah, so we'll dive straight back into the live comments in just a minute. Big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments as per usual. Really do appreciate it. Of course, if you're watching live, get your thoughts in the live comments and we'll be discussing them all stream as well. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed them. I'm just going to tweet today's team out on Twitter so everybody knows when everybody knows that we're live and they can come and have a little bit of a rant if they want to, because at the end of the day I think that's all we can do as Evertonians now, because we're at a stage of the football club where we're stuck, aren't we, at the minute? We're 4 managers deep. in Farhad Moshiri's reign. With one of the biggest reasons as to why I wouldn't go anywhere near Eddie Howe is because we've given managers like Eddie Howe their opportunity before and they haven't done anything with it. Roberto Martinez come in from a side that done okay with, he being relegated with, but he won an FA Cup and it was his opportunity to see if he could make it on the big stage. He couldn't. Same with Ronald Koeman. He come in from Southampton, a team doing okay. Got his big opportunity at a club that were challenging for the top 6. Couldn't do it. Same with Marco Silva. So for me now, we need to stop fucking about with the managers that have done well for, with all due respect, smaller Premier League clubs and may or may not be good enough to manage at the top level. We need to just bollocks to that. Look at, we can sit here and we can look at Spurs and a lot of Evertonians say, well, Everton are, as big as Spurs, or we're not in the position of Spurs. What Spurs have done is they've realised that the manager's not good enough and they've sacked him and they've brought in a proven winner straight away. Literally within half an hour, they've brought in a proven winner. I hear people saying, well, Spurs are a Champions League, club. Spurs have genuinely got some chance of winning something. But just take it back to Leicester. Leicester won the Premier League with Claudio Ranieri. The following season, he wasn't impressing, so they sacked him. They got rid of him. Ruthlessness, absolutely brutal. You're not doing good enough, so you're going. Couple of managers later, trying to find the right man. They bring in Brendan Rodgers, now the third in the Premier League table. I watched Leicester at the weekend and they are fucking unbelievable, mate. They are head and tails better than Everton. And I swear to God, if Marco Silva's in charge of this Everton team next week, I really fear that we could be given 6 or 7, maybe even 8, an 8-0 defeat, exactly like Southampton were, because they are a different level above Everton Football Club. And it's horrible because, at the start of the season, we seen ourselves as a contender for that top 6, top 7 with Leicester, with Wolves, but it's quite clear to see that, even Wolves are probably a step ahead of us. Leicester definitely are a step ahead of us, and that's because they've got the ruthlessness in the board to go, you're not doing well enough, so you're going to lose your job. And we just don't have that, to be honest. Every Evertonian, probably at some point have gone, you know what, we wanted to work for Marco Silva, he seems like a decent bloke, he seems like a nice man, but it's very clear that it isn't working. You only have to look at the stats. We've never come back from being 1-0 down to win a Premier League game of football under Marco Silva. We've won, less than 10 away games in 2 years under Marco Silva, which is dreadful. We've been beaten this season by all 3 promoted sides, 2 of them being at Goodison Park, and, all 3 of them games being 2-0 defeats. We can't string 2 consistent wins together. We've got no consistency, so therefore we've got no momentum, and we're not going to go anywhere forward in the future with that, those same levels of the lack of consistency. Marco Silva needs to leave the football club, and we need to bring in a proven winner, a manager that can come in, settle these players down and get them playing good football. Take us out of whatever rot we're in now, bring us out of this, and then go again next season. And if it means we have to bring somebody in on an interim basis between now and the end of the season to manage that before we can bring a top proven winner in, then so be it. But I don't want to bring in Eddie Howe next week and again it be at the start of another 2 or 3 year project that might go well or mightn't go well, because Eddie Howe might 6 months in go, I'm head over my ears with this job and I can't manage it, and then we're in exactly the same situation as we are now with Marco Silva. But anyway, I just want to sort of stop the management talk for just a second, and I want to actually review the game, because that's what we're here to do, and we'll be talking a lot about the managers today, and I understand that's why most of you want to be here. You don't want to talk about the game on Saturday. You want to talk about the manager and who could possibly come in to replace him. But we are going to review the game slightly. Let's be honest, there's not an awful lot to review, is it? We were absolutely dreadful. There was another Everton performance at Goodison Park where, you go and you sit down, and from minute 1 to minute 90, you're just sitting there thinking, this is absolutely atrocious. This is appalling. We are shocking. We are absolutely dreadful. And that's exactly how it was. Defensively, we were awful on Saturday. Absolutely awful. For me, from the start, from the get-go, Marco Silva obviously went with the same team as he went with at Southampton. That obviously won at St Mary's before the international break. But for me, the system was totally off from the first minute. To play 2 defensive midfielders against a side that are rock bottom in the Premier League, haven't managed to score an away goal since the first game of the season, haven't won a game for God knows how long, it's massively, massively worrying in itself. Even at that point, I'd have been thinking, right, maybe, you know, he isn't the right man for the job now. Maybe he doesn't quite know what he's doing. To play two defensive midfielders in a game against the side that we should be going out and we should be putting 4 or 5 past is absolutely, it's unthinkable. It really, really is. And that performance and that result on Saturday was unthinkable in itself. Obviously, you know, we go out, we seem to struggle throughout the entire game. You know, I think Norwich had the better of the ball. I think Norwich had the better of the opportunities throughout the 90 minutes as well. Obviously, they opened the score. And I think one thing I took from the game, if just talking about it generally, because there's no point in us going in and talking about, you know, individual parts or individual moments, because, you know, the individual moments just, you know, point to Everton being shite as per usual. But I think one thing I really, really took from it was defensively, we were absolutely atrocious on Saturday. Now, I had a little bit of a go at Gylfi Sigurdsson in the instant match reaction. I said that, you know, he'd be more useful sitting in the empty seat in front of me. And I thought Gylfi Sigurdsson was shocking on Saturday. And for me, Gylfi Sigurdsson shouldn't be anywhere near this team if he's going to be performing like that. He certainly shouldn't be coming back into this team and being given the captain's armband straight away after being dropped in the previous weeks for not being good enough. That, again, is another box ticked on why Marco Silva should leave this football club. Bringing in a player that's previously been dropped multiple times for not being good enough, and all of a sudden the captain straight away. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, Gylfi Sigurdsson comes in, and he had one of his typical Gylfi Sigurdsson games this season, and I don't really want to go in on individual players and pick an individual players, because at the end of the day, you know, a manager will come and go, and Marco Silva probably will leave the football club. Hopefully will leave the football club within the next, you know, week or so, whatever it may be. But these players are still going to be here. Gylfi Sigurdsson's still going to be here until at least the summer. So is Richarlison. So is, you know, Snydland. So is Mason Holgate. So I don't particularly want to go too in on the players. But Gylfi Sigurdsson was appalling at the weekend. Absolutely shocking performance from him. As were, you know, Morgan Snydland, again, didn't really do an awful lot. But for me, defensively, I think we were back to the defensive errors of early last season, when we just couldn't defend a fucking ball in the box. We couldn't defend the corner. We couldn't defend anything. Mason Holgate put in a Mason Holgate performance from 3 or 4 years ago before he went on loan to West Brom. Now, I've been praising Mason Holgate massively over the last couple of weeks and saying he really does look like a changed player. He looks like a player that's come, you know, back from a loan spell, that's really, really improved and that really wants to impress. But that performance on Saturday looked like a Mason Holgate-esque performance from when he was, you know, before he went out on loan 2 or 3 years ago, and that's not good enough for me. And let's hope that it is just a one-off, but it really, really wasn't good enough. The defence in itself was a shambles. Both fullbacks were poor all game. We'll talk about the substitution, the Sidibe substitution in a second. But ultimately, for me, every single one of those Everton players didn't do anywhere near enough. The forward line, Cenk Tosun was absent. Richarlison was absent. Theo Walcott didn't do enough. The midfield was absolutely atrocious, and so was the defensive line. But at the end of the day, the way they were set up was quite frankly embarrassing by Marco Silva. The system was dreadful. How on God's green earth he didn't think to play Alex Iwobi in that game, and even to put Moise Kean, start Moise Kean or start Dominic Calvert-Lewin, somebody with a bit of pace, somebody with a bit of intensity, and somebody with an eye for going forward and for creating an opportunity, because we didn't have anybody on the pitch that could do that on Saturday afternoon. And how in anybody's right mind he decided to go with this, you know, with the system that he went with against, you know, bottom of the league at Goodison Park, when he's come out previously in the press conference and said we massively need a win, it's a must-win game, we need to go out, we need to put a performance in. It just absolutely baffles me. It really, really does. But he went with that team, and you could see from the first 25 minutes that it wasn't working. You could see from the first 25 minutes that we were atrocious. Norwich were far too comfortable on the ball. They were passing it round, they were creating opportunities. They had a good opportunity where they went one-on-one. Jordan Pickford makes a really, really good save. You could see from minute 1 that they were far too comfortable and they were far too happy on the ball. And for me, when we went into half-time, that was Marco Silva's time to, you know, grow a pair of bollocks, really, quite frankly speaking. And it was Marco Silva's time to go, actually, you know what, if I keep it like this, not only are we more than likely going to get beat, but that whole crowd is going to turn on me, which inevitably is what has happened, because he didn't make the change and he couldn't foresee the change. And again, we're talking about a manager that is reactive and not proactive. And if we're sitting here genuinely in general meetings and a conversation with the fans and saying we were a club with ambition, we want to be challenging for the Premier League, we want to be challenging for the Champions League, etc, etc. Don't get me wrong, that's miles away and I'm not even thinking about that. We need to be challenging for not being fucking relegated at the minute. But if we're a club that want to be coming out and want to be feeding fans all this bullshit, then we can't be having a manager in that's reactive and not proactive. And that's exactly what Marco Silva was. He didn't make any change at half time. I could see myself sitting in the park end, sitting in row Z, however many rows up. I could see it wasn't working on that pitch. I tweeted it out at half time. We needed Alex Iwobi and we needed Moise Kean, and Gylfi Sigurdsson needed to make way, and possibly one of the front three as well, because Cenk Tosun didn't do anywhere near enough. Theo Walcott didn't do anywhere near enough. Even Richarlison, you know, to an extent, didn't do anything near enough. But he doesn't make any substitutions. He comes up with the exact same start 11 as that started the game, and we concede. All of a sudden, when we concede, Alex Iwobi's ready to come on. He then wants to bring Dominic Calvert-Lewin on. He wants to make these changes, and that for me was at that point I thought, you know what, even if we win this game, he needs to leave the football club because he's not the right man for the job. Because even if by some miracle we sneak a goal back and then Norwich fall to bits because of, you know, their recent form and we win this game, he wouldn't win any game against any other side in the Premier League. And he wouldn't have won that game on the weekend because Norwich kept it calm, they kept it cool, and they played good football. And for me, like I said, at that point, when I seen Alex Iwobi getting ready to come on after we've conceded, I thought, no, he's done. He's done at this football club. He's absolutely done. He's nowhere near good enough. He's nowhere near, you know, proactive enough. He's done. He needs to go. And, you know, I think it further dug into Evertonians' minds that was the case when he made the third substitution. And obviously, one that I think baffled all of us, to be honest with you. One that definitely baffled me. Why in God's earth, again, you know, I don't even really believe in God, but I'm throwing God about because I just hope he fucking helps us. Why he brings on Seamus Coleman, a right back who, above anything, before we talk about the fact that he, you know, changing right back for right back when there's no clear injury in a game that we're getting beaten. Why he's bringing on a player that has been in poor form this season, has shown no attacking threat for about 2 years, and like I said, is not known at all recently for giving us anything going forward. Why he's making that substitution at 1-0 down when you've got the likes of Moise Kean on the bench, who is a player that's got confidence because he's performed well for Italy under-21s, needs to come in and prove a point, needs to come in and prove himself with the fans, but no, let's make a right-back for a right-back substitution in a game that we're getting beat. Yeah, Jabril Sidibe wasn't playing well, he had a poor game, I can say that, you know, 100% Jabril Sidibe had a poor game, Luca Dean had a poor game, Mason Holgate had a poor game, Yerry Mina had a poor game, Morgan Schneider had a poor game, Gylfi Sigurdsson had a poor game, Richarlison had a poor game. Why, when we are being beaten by the lowest team in the Premier League, rock bottom 20th, haven't won an away game all season, have scored 1 goal away from home all season, why are you changing your right back at that moment? Regardless of whether he was playing with one leg and he was fucking shite, why are you changing your right back in that moment? You do not need to make that substitution. You could have had Moise Kean come on and said to Moise Kean, listen, we're in the shit here, we're being beaten, go out there and, you know, score us a goal, do something, show us why you need to be in this starting 11 week in, week out. Give the player a reason to play, but no, we'll make a safe substitution and bring on a player that obviously wasn't going to affect the game whatsoever. And for me, at that point, I just sat there and thought, he's done. He is absolutely done for at this football club. And like I said, now it's just a case of the inevitable. And after that substitution, obviously, we started to attack, you know, quite bluntly. Didn't have many opportunities, started to pass it round. The passing was poor. The level of performance was poor, the level of energy was poor, the level of momentum was poor, the passing was poor, we were just shocking for the rest of the game, and then they break and they get the second, and it's game over, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're thinking, right, this is only going to go one way now. This is where we have to step up, and talking about ambition, talking about wanting to be a big club, wanting to be in the mix with the top 6 and all that shit. This is where we need to show that ambition now, and we need to say to Marco Silva straight after the game, listen, this isn't working, you're not good enough, thanks for your time, see you later, we'll pay it off, whatever, and then we bring in somebody else the very next day. But no, we're still sat here 48 hours later with absolutely no, you know, fucking none the wiser as to, you know, who's going to come in, whether he's going to be sacked, whether he's going to be replaced. And for me, that just shows the level of competency of the board, and that's why, again, I said 2-3 months ago, I don't trust the board to make the right decision for Everton Football Club, and I'm still sitting here with the same feeling. If you're enjoying the scene, by the way, so far, please do hit the like button. Hitting 100 concurrent views, which is absolutely unbelievable. A massive thank you for all of your support recently. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button as well. It only takes a second. Let's dive back into the live comments and see what you are all saying. Where are we? Alex says we could easily. I think I've read all them. Hang on, where are we? Yeah, Ian says Silva should be gone already and don't bring Moyes back, never go back to after Man 6 forward. Yeah, Stu says, left a like, lad. Great channel. Thank you very much. Really, really do appreciate that, Stu. Rob says, good numbers for live chat. Used to be around 4 of us. It did. Big thanks to everybody. The channel is growing massively, and I can't thank you enough for the support. It's been absolutely unbelievable. So big thanks to everybody. Gaz says, Rafa or Poch, I'll be happy. I'll be massively happy, but I don't think either of them will come to Everton. David says, I'd rather have Ferguson for now. No expectations, and he'll tear them a new one. Fair enough. I question why Ferguson hasn't been given the job previously, to be honest with you, when we've gone through changes of managers. I think that's something to think about. Derek says, Moyes until the end of the season, knows the club goes straight in, knows the issues. At least with Moyes, he won't stand for some of the gutless performances. It's a good point. We'll talk about possible replacements in just a second. David says, less to read, Rob. Matt says, Rafa is the logical choice, so Hughes it is then the most frustrating club on earth. Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? Chiari says, why does everyone not want Moyes until the end of the season? Moyes will at least drive the players to go out and bust a gut for the cause. I'm going to give my opinion on that in a second. Mark the Knox says, New Silva was never the right man. Martin as the second. Fair point. Chan says, Moyes desires to have a go with billionaires back, and Moyes is not my top choice, but he's the best candidate we can realistically go for. Highly doubt Pochettino would consider coming to Everton. That's a really good comment, and actually a comment that I agree with. Joel says, if Poch comes, I'll be really surprised. Same here, mate. Rob says, lol, channel growing nicely. Thank you very much, Rob. Really do appreciate that. It's growing immensely. Ian says, don't forget, it took Moyes time to turn the team around. We need a big club manager. We do. Ziad says, can't feel sorry for you, even though as a United fan we're even worse. I don't think you are worse at the minute. Ziad says, Chris Wilder, no chance. Richarlison, God says, I got to miss the Norwich game. Happy. Lucky bastard. David says, you're not Ziad. Ryan says, get Poch signed up for the next season. If he wants a break from the game, I'll be happy to have Moyes for the season, but not permanently. I think, if Everton come out now and they said, right, Marco Silva's being sacked, David Moyes is going to come into the end of the season, and then Mauricio Pochettino's taking over in the summer, I think a lot of Everton fans would go, you know what, maybe we didn't want Moyes back in, but let's look at what's coming in the summer. We're getting Pochettino in, you can't really complain, but it'll never be like that with Everton Football Club. Again, we'll be left another 48 hours without knowing anything. Tosson's on fire. Your defensive terrified says, don't want Eddie Howe, he's overrated and he's an English Marco Silva. I'll talk about Eddie Howe in a second. I don't want Eddie Howe at all. Chances high, what you think of Eddie Howe? Good manager, but I don't want him anywhere near Everton Football Club. David says, Chris Houghton, no. Ziad says, what do you mean, David Collins? Richarlison's God says, Tosson is shit, like missed 2 easy chances, and Gylfi is an invisible man. They were both really poor at the weekend. Ziad says, we lost to Newcastle. Dino says, Silva's a donkey. Leicester are going to swat us on Sunday. They will, definitely. Prince Rupert says, we're in the exact same spot we were in just two years ago. Second season with a new manager, and everything goes shit. We end up in the relegation battle instead of moving forward. It's depressing. Spot on. David says, we lost to Norwich, Villa, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Bournemouth. Exactly. Ian says, the players are not playing for the manager. Let's start with Pickford, who needs to dominate the defence and build on it. Spot on. Kadir says, hi mate, hi Kadir, hope you're doing well. Eugene says, Marco Silva will get the sack tomorrow morning and David Moyes will come back to become the Everton manager. The bookies' favourite is David Moyes. I can see it happening, but with Everton, I can also see Marco Silva keeping his job for a long time. Wayne said, we need a hard bastard manager, not a nice guy fed up with these prima donna disrespecting this iconic blue shirt. Clone. Simeone, failing that, Wolves' manager is the best out there. Would either of them come to Everton? I don't think Simeone would come anywhere near Everton, to be honest. Dino says, why the F would you want Moyes back? I don't want Moyes back. Good Soul says, no leaders of the club. Who do people turn to when things are getting tough? We need a manager and a few players who have to fight and don't take the shit our players do when we walk over for any team. Spot on. Really good comment. Agree with that. PG Danny says, absolute shite in week week out, and he's being sacked at every other club. Marco is being at, so what's different at this club to sack him at this club? Really good point. David says, Betty, doesn't Eugene... Charles God says, would you take Gerrard or Giggs? No, they've got no experience at all. David says, for the coffee. Kadir says, mate Moyes. No. Eugene says, how about Pochettino's next manager job is the Everton job? Yes, please, but I don't think he comes to Everton. Ian says, everyone is a step in front of us and we are looking at a basic side. Give Keenan and Iwobi a chance now. Spot on. David says, Poch wants Madrid, who doesn't. Kanazuki Kennedy says, hey Cap, needed to happen today this. Yeah, it did. And although we've still got a couple of hours of today left, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. Gaz says, review where we're shite, review over. Yeah, but basically. Two says, yeah, it'll be in Madrid by Xmas. I wouldn't be surprised. Kadir says, Newcastle's new system. Eugene says, how about David Unsworth, new Everton manager, because he knows the football club? No, he's not good enough and hasn't been good enough in previous stints. David says, it is therapeutic, kind of sucking. Kevin says, if and when Silva gets the boot, do you think he should get this severance pay for getting sacked? Great channel, by the way. Thank you very much, Kevin. Listen, whether he should or shouldn't, he's going to, so I think it doesn't really matter about. I don't think that's going to be, a massive issue on Evertonians' minds. If he gets sacked is how much he's going to be paid or whether he's going to be paid off. I think there'll just be a lot of relief that he's left the club. I think that's probably something for the board to worry about, and that's probably a reason as to why he's still in the job tonight. Ryan says Unsworth had it auditioned 2 years ago. No thanks. Stu says no to Unsworth. His last goal was crap. I agree. David says he has a contact. Kevin. Wayne says Eugene didn't work last time. Unsworth's job's too big. Dean says Stevie Wonder. Kevin says maybe so, David, but look at what he's doing to the club. David says doesn't matter, mate. Eugene says how about Big Dunk Ferguson as the new Everton manager? I don't think he'd take it, to be honest with you. I think he'd know that it's too much for him. It's too much responsibility, and we're in too much of a shit position, and I really don't think he'd take it. Ian says why is Iwobi not getting the start now? He has the speed and talent. He changed the team and still sits on the bench. Your guess is as good as mine, mate. Stu says David Collins, totally agree. Big Dunk would sort them out. He's there though. I really love Duncan Ferguson, and I think he's an Everton legend. But for me, Duncan Ferguson is a member of the coaching staff, and whether he is restricted on what he can and what he can't say, and the level of interaction he can have and he can't have with the first team squad, if he can have all the interaction in the world, then he should be there sorting them out now. He should be there giving them boots up the arse. He should be there telling them how they need to play. Obviously, if he's restricted on doing that, then completely fair enough. But he's in the setup now, so for me, I think I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. And again, like I said, I don't think he'd take the job. Good Soul says, I said, but the lineup was too slow and negative at home to Norwich. Subs and timing of them left me with head in hands. How can we see what he can't? Exactly. Makajaka says, how about Neil Warnock makes every Saturday man just tough to beat and may get Everton to Europe with their superior quality of managers when compared to the squads he had at Cardiff and Rotterdam. I don't want Neil Warnock because again, I don't really think it shows much ambition. But I do see your points. Kadir says new manager, please. Paul Smith says Dunk is already in there. He's not going to change it. He's part of it. Fair point. David says no Wayne. We have the attacking talent, but it's not used. Eugene says, what do you think of Mikel Arteta as the new Everton manager? I think he'd bring the field goal factor, but he's got no experience, and it will be a massive risk. Please do leave a like on the stream, by the way, if you are enjoying so far. It means a massive amount to me, and if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Where are we in the comments? David says, Duncan's a good coach. He doesn't influence the team. That's down to Silva and Bowen Morte. Fair enough. Paul says, no ex-players with no experience. A proper manager with a big reputation who gets the egos to respect them or gets rid of them. Ian says, Silva has proved he cannot manage a big club, and I really don't want... hang on. Where are we? I've just lost that. There we go. And I really don't want to be fighting for a place in the Premier League next season. Exactly. Wayne says if we don't sign Jared Bowen in January, we've messed up again. Scores 1 in 2 games and ain't even a striker. Paul says David Collins, the coach, is supposed to put the fire in the belly. He isn't doing that. I agree. Eugene says, how about Mark Hughes as Everton manager? No. Kind of soon that I'm starting to doubt Machiri. Fair enough. I think a lot of people are. David says, Ian, you have a mouth to get used to. We will be bottom 3 next season. Month to get used to. Sorry. Wayne says, perfect game for Keane to start. That playing Sig and Snidlin and Tossen in the same team too slow, bro. I agree, spot on. David says no chance, Eugene, and Ian says totally agree. So yeah, listen, I think it would only be right for us to talk about some of the the managers that have been thrown about in the press over the last 24 to 48 hours. Listen, again, Marco Silva's still in a job at the minute. There's no guarantee that he's going to be sacked. We know what Everton Football Club are like. We know what Everton's board are like. So there's absolutely no guarantee that Marco Silva will be sacked before our game against Leicester on Sunday afternoon. But I think it's only fair to talk about some of the people that have been banded about in the press over the last 48 hours regarding replacing Marco Silva. I'm going to give my brief opinion on them. I'm going to give reasons as to why I would or wouldn't like them at Everton Football Club. Feel free to give me your opinions, of course. Please do give me your opinions in the live comments so we can talk about them as well. But obviously, after the result on Saturday, the press had a field day in picking up names left, right and centre. There's people that could possibly come in to replace Marco Silva. I think the biggest one and the one that we have to start with is obviously former Everton manager David Moyes. Spent 11 seasons at Goodison Park. Give us, our best season, I'd say arguably in recent years. Well, not arguably, factually our best season in recent years, getting us into the Champions League. Also give us our worst season in recent years. Coming in and obviously nearly getting us relegated in this first season, got us out of that rut, and it went well from there. Listen, I think David Moyes is a tricky one. I don't want David Moyes back at Everton Football Club. I'm not a fan of going back in time. I think it would show, it would show massive amounts of. I just think again, nothingness, negativity, and show exactly that we haven't moved anywhere forward since Mashiri's come in, since David Moyes has left the football club, if David Moyes is to come back. However, saying that, there's a couple of sources saying that David Moyes may come in on an interim basis, and then regardless of how well he does, leave in the summer and give the club a chance to look for a permanent manager in the summer. I wouldn't be totally against that. I think what David Moyes will bring is he will bring that gritty feeling, he will bring that feeling to the players of that you go out and you give it 110% week in, week out, and you don't, lounge about, and you give your all. That kick up the arse that some of the players need. Having said that, he's had a lot of opportunities since leaving Everton Football Club. He was, poor at Manchester United. He was shocking over in Spain. He was dreadful for West Ham. So I wouldn't want David Moyes to come in on a permanent basis, not at all. Like I said, if the club come out and they give us a situation where they said Marco Silva's left, David Moyes is going to come in on the interim basis, and and we're going to have Pochettino, we're going to have Simeone, we can only dream, but let's just say, for example, in a dream world, they come out and said, and then that manager's going to come in the summer, and they're going to replace David Moyes no matter what. The contract's already signed, a little bit like Manchester City done a couple of years ago with Pep Guardiola. They announced halfway through the season that Pep Guardiola is going to come in, in the summer, and he's going to be the new manager of Everton. And then you can sit there and you can go, right, okay, we'll bring Moyes in, let him do what he's doing, steady the ship, and we know that we've got something to look forward to in the future. We know that there's something at the end, there's a light at the end of the tunnel that, hopefully is a proven winner that's going to be able to take us to that next level. If we're bringing in David Moyes and going, right, we're bringing in David Moyes and let's see how it goes, I'm not going to be particularly happy, because again, like I said, it just shows that we haven't moved forward whatsoever since he left. However, I would prefer David Moyes over a lot of the names that are in the running. I'll just go through some of them now. Mark Hughes, no, don't go anywhere near. Massively failed at average Premier League clubs like Stoke, Manchester City, when they were shite, he failed at. He's just not a good manager in my opinion. He's just not a manager that A, could get us out of the situation that we're in now, and B, even if he did get us out of the situation, he definitely couldn't take us to that next level. He couldn't. And when we're talking about the next level, it's interesting because just to stop myself and go on and talk a little bit more on that point, we were speaking about the next level at the start of the season, and we said, the next level is top 6, the next level is challenging for the top 4, blah, blah, blah. The next level for us is Leicester. And that's what I'm talking about. When I'm saying, a manager that can come in and take us to the next level, I mean a manager that can come in and match us to Leicester and get us playing how they're playing and get us with the consistency as they have. Not necessarily a manager that's going to come and get us to the top 4 or the top, or challenging for the league, because for me that's years away. That's years and years and years away, and I'm not even thinking about that. So I wouldn't go anywhere near Mark Hughes. Eddie Howe for me again is a really, really interesting one. I think Eddie Howe's a good manager, but again for me it screams too much similar to Marco Silva, too much similar to the appointment of Ronald Koeman, to the appointment of Roberto Martinez, with absolutely no disrespect intended whatsoever to Bournemouth. We'll be bringing in Eddie Howe on the basis that he's done well at a smaller club, and this may be his chance to prove whether he can do it at the big time, or prove whether he's good enough to take a club to the next level. And I really just don't think we're in a situation now to be far-darsing about with managers that may or may not be able to take us to that next level. We need a proven winner that's going to come in and settle these players down and get them playing good football and be able to take us to that next level. And I'm talking, when I say proven winner, I mean a manager who has won Premier League titles, a manager who has won cups consistently throughout his career, not while he was a player, whilst he was a manager. Or we need somebody that's going to be able to come in, settle the players down, get them playing back to basics, get us out of this rut now, and that manager can only come in on a temporary basis, and then they leave in the summer and we bring in a proven winner. That's the only two options for Everton Football Club at the minute, and I don't think Eddie Howe fits into either of them. So whilst he's a good manager, whilst he's done really, really well at Bournemouth, I just don't think it's the right time to come to Everton Football Club whatsoever, and I really, it's too much risk for me. It's too much risk and not enough reward. So I wouldn't have Eddie Howe regardless of how well he's done at Bournemouth. Very similar to Sean Dyche, wouldn't go anywhere near him. Yes, he's done well at Burnley. Yes, he got them into Europe one season, but it's a totally different situation with Everton now, so I wouldn't have him. Mikel Arteta is another one that I wanted to point out because he's a manager that obviously he's an assistant at Manchester City currently. I think a lot of Evertonians would hail him as an Everton legend. I think that's fair to say. A little bit of a strange one. He's never managed a football club whatsoever. He's never been the manager. He's been the number 2 next to arguably the greatest manager to ever live in Pep Guardiola. So I think the Mikel Arteta situation's a little bit difficult. I think there's a lot of Evertonians that understand that he will probably bring the feel-good factor back to Everton. He will bring the connection back between the fans and the manager. But I think when we look at it realistically, and we take away the emotion, and we take away the feeling of how nice it'd be if Mikel Arteta come in to manage the football club, I think we also have to look at the realistic points, and the realistic point is A, he's never managed a football club before. B, these players are millionaire football celebrities who aren't necessarily going to settle for an Everton legend who was treated as royalty by the fans because they were an Everton legend who was treated as royalty. I think the only thing that is going to kick these players in, arses into gear, which is exactly what they need, is a proven manager that they can look at and they go, we're going to listen to every single thing he says because he's been there and he's done it and he's won it all and he's managed teams to win in league trophies and to win in cup competitions. Whereas Arteta, I just feel that there'll be a nice feeling between the fans and it'd be fantastic for a couple of weeks, but I just feel like the players might look at him and go, well, who are you? What have you done? You won one FA Cup with Arsenal, you didn't really win anything else in your career, yet you've sat next to Pep Guardiola for however many years, but you're not Pep Guardiola, so we're not going to listen to you. So there's risk with Arteta. I think Arteta brings in, more of a feel-good factor than any of the names that have been bandied about. I think David Moyes brings in more of probably a realistic factor of any of the names, and a part of that realism is because he probably is likely going to be the replacement to Marco Silva if Marco Silva is sacked. Again, like I said at the start of the season, purely because of how easy it will be to bring David Moyes in, and purely because of I think Bill Kenwright had quite happily appoint David Moyes again. Like I said, there's been other managers banded about. You've got Pochettino. I personally don't think he'll come anywhere near Everton. Same with Diego Simeone. Rafa Benitez is an interesting one. Said he'd be keen to come back to the Premier League. He said previously that he would manage Everton. Whether we'd approach him because of the Liverpool connection is another thing, and whether he'd leave his massive contact in China now is also another thing. So maybe a potential situation is bringing in somebody in an interim basis, whether it's David. Again, I'm not advocating for David Moyes. I don't particularly want David Moyes back whatsoever, but let's just say it was David Moyes, and then coming out and also saying, but we've got somebody like Rafa Benitez who's going to come in the summer, and then that gives us something to look forward to and something to go, well, okay, whatever we're getting now, we're only getting temporary. But anyway, yeah, listen, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. There's been loads of managers banded about, and a lot of it is press shite. A lot of it is press shite. You're seeing Sky Sports do it today. Now, I personally wouldn't listen to a word Sky Sports say. That's just me personally, because after all the drama in the summer about the Wilfried Zaha situation and the fact that we started to realise that we'd only placed one bid for Wilfried Zaha and the transfer was never really as serious as Sky decided to say it was because of Sky Bet, and they were lying about us offering players. I really wouldn't listen to Sky. And this Eddie Howe rumours come from Sky saying David Moyes is likely to be considered for Everton manager, which is right, and Eddie Howe's also in there, because basically what they've done there is they've gone, well, if we say David Moyes is to be considered, then fans are going to go, well, you know what, I'll stick a tenner on Sky Bet for David Moyes to be the next Everton manager. And it's got a very high chance that David Moyes could be the next Everton manager, because we know what the board are like, and we know that he's not got a job. He'd happily walk straight back into this job with no hesitation. It would take one phone call, and like I said earlier on, within 10 minutes he'd be at Goodison Park. So let's throw Eddie Howe in there as well to get people going, oh, Eddie Howe, maybe Eddie Howe will go as well. I'll stick a tenner on him, and then they'll make shitloads of money on Eddie Howe. So I wouldn't listen to what Sky are saying. Loads of papers coming out and throwing names about in the hood. If you were to ask my opinion on who I want, I don't really know who I want, to be honest, at the minute. If you were asked my opinion who I think is the most realistic that will come in, I would have to say it would be David Moyes, because that's just the feeling I have with the football club. Let's delve back into the live comments. Anyway, David says, spot on, Wayne. To his earlier point, too, says, you've been saying this since you thought that we have been playing great, just need consistency, and I've been, what the fuck, but at least the last two games you're saying how crap we are week in, week out. But, there is some performances that we generally turn up with, but again, it means nothing if the next week we're absolutely shite, but recently we've been absolutely shocking. Wayne says, Eric Ten Hag win-to-game ratios class. Maybe he's a manager that we could look at bringing in the summer. Whether he'd come in midway through the season, I don't know. David says, some get a little carried away with a win or a draw. Yeah, I probably do, to be honest with you. David says, no. Thomas says, they reckon he's gone. Paul says, you don't need to pay me. Wayne says, Ziad, would you do it for free? I'd go in and do it, give it to me. David says, easy guys. Thomas says, and Moyes has been put in charge. Ian says, the manager needs to have managed a big club. He needs to be a proven winner. That's it. He needs to be a proven winner, and there's no other way about it. Kadir says, Marco is not a bold and alternative system administrator. Drew says, but this has to be up there with the worst football we have seen. As bad as Fat Sam, although a different style, our football is unwatchable. Even when we get 3 points, that points to big issues. Good point, fair enough. Wayne Ziad says contact details. Eugene says, how about Sean Dyche is the new Everton manager? No, sir. Hazard says, alright, Cam, on just showing up, you're okay. I'm not too bad, mate. Hope you're doing well. Steve says, love the rant after the game, Cam. Top, mate. You said everything we all felt. Thank you very much, Steve. Really do appreciate that. It was an emotion-felt rant, but I felt like it needed to be said. Big thanks for that, Steve. David says, breaking. Hughes is in. Don't do that to me. Please don't do that to me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't think he's coming. I've got nothing from Sky Sports. Where are we? Paul says, how about Eugene McCarver as Everton manager? Hazard says, best not be David. Eugene says, how about Big Sam again? No. I just think he talks too much shite, to be honest. Hazard said, can't believe he's still in a job. I agree. Thomas says, Hughes, you have to be joking. He's absolute shite. I think it's just a rumour, mate. Dino says, who would you have, Cam? We need someone with a good experience. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't know. But you know, Marco Silva needs to leave the football club because he's not good enough. Everton TV says David Moyes would love to see him back. Fair enough, I suppose that's the other side of the argument. Ian says, please give a well-being key in the start, pick a team and build on it. Let's get the players in who you see give 100%. At least we can move forward. David says, odds on new manager 1-7, odds on Cam slowing down 1-70. Do apologise about my speed. Thomas says the board has as much blame as Silva. They have not been proactive. They have sat in their hands hoping things will turn around. I think Machiri is a cop-out agent. I don't think he's a cop-out agent, but I agree spot on. Like I said at the start of the season, this is on the board now. Marco Silva's lost his game at the weekend. He's shown that he's very incompetent. He's shown that he can't manage this football club. We're now on Monday, and he's still in a job. So now it's on the board. Big says, hope you're not fuming anymore, Cam, after Saturday. Yeah, I'm just bored of Everton at the minute, to be honest with you. David says, lol Thomas. Paul says, Moyes would show the same old sentiment, mentality and lack of ambition by the board. Fair enough. David says, hasn't Carragher done us bad? Just don't go anywhere near him either. Gaza says, hope you've washed that top. Also, can Cam, you had it on Saturday? I had it on for the game and then I took it off straight after, and I only put it on literally 20 minutes before the game, before I left for the stadium. So it'll go in the wash after this, I promise you. David says he burnt that one, guys. Eugene says we're going backwards with Marco Silva now. Ian says, don't forget what Moyes did when he walked out. Kendall come back and failed. We still love him, but bringing a manager back, it never works. Even Liverpool fucked up with Dalglish. Really good point. David says breaking Ped and Bassett in. Wayne says worst season for us to bottle it. Top 6 was there for the taking. Started to buy players, the wrong players in the summer. Kabam was never replacing Gay. No need for another defensive mid. The Keane 19. Nah, fair enough. Eugene says should have got Jose Mourinho when he was free before he went to Tottenham. I agree. 1961 Scout says proven winner like who the fuck is going to come to Everton, who has a pedigree at all? Not a hope in hell. It's a really good point. David says he wants to be in London. Eugene, he lived in a hotel for 2 years while managing United. That is also a good point. Wayne says Rafa Benitez I'd take him, but I don't think he's going to come yet. Eugene says Roy Keane is the new Everton manager, or Martin O'Neill is Everton manager because he's a free agent now. Neither of those two. David says Simeone on 5.8 million, Benitez on 11.6 million, but Benitez is an easier target. I just don't think Simeone had come to Everton. I think Benitez is, well, I think he is an easier target because Benitez has come out and he said, listen, yeah, I'd be happy to come to the Premier League, and he's entertained the thought of managing Everton as well. Whereas Simeone would look at Everton now and go, no chance, I'm happy where I am, in my opinion anyway. Ian says Moyes could only come back till the end of the season. Fair point. Wayne says Eddie Howe's being close to joining, would like him, just feel like we'd have the same defensive problems again. I agree. And again, very little consistency with Eddie Howe's teams as well when you're in terms of going forward. Thomas says I think Silva is a con man. I would have not had him working in the car park. He is shite. The players are not playing for him, which is disrespectful. Their loyalty is to the club, not the manager. Spot on, good point. Ian says Eugene, good call. Martin O'Neill, no thanks for me personally. Thomas says Gylfi, Snards and Toshin, can we get any slower players? Dave says, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thanks for participating. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on Wednesday to discuss Silva still being manager. It's going to come. Toothy Office says, fair enough, Cam. Yeah, that's pretty much our reply to, because a lot, you know, every single comment is good. Every single comment makes sense, and I think that's what's most baffling for us Evertonians, is we can sit here and we can do the instant match reactions like me, and you know the amount of people that I are commenting saying I've been thinking exactly like that, spot on, and we're all thinking the same thing, and every single comment in the live comments is I'm thinking the same, blah blah blah. I don't understand why the club can't see it. I don't understand why the board can't see it. If we can all see it as a fan base, why can't Bill Kenwright see it? Why can't Farhad Mashiri see it? I just don't understand. I really don't. So it says, good luck. Hopefully you become a big fan channel. I hope so, mate. Thank you very much. Mitchell says, who would you do first? What would you do first day as Gaffer Cam? I'd make one captain, and I'd just make them captain, and whether they're in the team or not, the captain. And, you know, I wouldn't have 5 captains, and if Gylfi Sigurdsson gets dropped one week, whether he's in the next week, he's the captain, I'd just say, listen, Luca Dean, you're the captain, you're playing every week, and that's it. That's probably the first thing I'd do, and I'd do an awful lot of shit as well, to be honest with you. Ziad says, if I paid you to kill me, would you kill me? No. Ian says, I think Bill Kenwright should step up and do the right thing. That's something positive for the fans. Reece says, honestly, do you reckon it's Marco or the players? A bit of both, but I think, you know, it's very easy to replace a manager. It's not very easy to replace a set of players. And Nick says Benitez. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's team. A massive thank you to everybody for getting involved. I've had literally consistently over 100 viewers watching, so big thanks to everybody. I really do appreciate it. If we can get the likes up to 50, that'll be absolutely unbelievable. We're just 2 away. I really do appreciate all the support. Like I said, it means an absolute massive amount to me. Listen, Everton in a situation at the minute, which it isn't nice for any of us. We're sitting here week in, week out, talking about how poor we are, talking about another awful result, talking about another awful performance. So, you know, I really do appreciate all of you spending your time to take out your day to come and sit and watch me and participate in the live streams. As usual, a big thanks to everybody in the live comments. Once again, if you're watching the YouTube video, leave your comments in the comment section and I'll try and reply to as many of them as possible. Really do appreciate the support. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It only takes a second. And if you haven't already, please do follow us on Twitter. It's @MightyBluesYT. I'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to be talking a little bit more about this situation. You know, if between now and Wednesday Marco Silva's being sacked, I'll obviously be doing a live reaction video to that, so look out for that one. But if not, we'll be talking a little bit more about possible replacements and talking a little bit more about the inevitability of this situation and why Everton's board are still pandering about it. Big thanks to everybody for watching once again. The support has been absolutely unbelievable. A massive thank you for all the support on the instant match reaction on Saturday as well. I literally can't thank you enough. So big thanks to everybody. Let's get in the live comments before we go. David says, Ziad. Eugene says, see you, bye Marco Silva get the sack of Everton on Tuesday morning at 9 AM. It'll be on Sky Sports News tomorrow morning. I hope so, but we don't know. Jed says, do you hate me? No, not at all. Wayne says, at least we're going to have the best stadium in the Championship in a few years. We're going to be supporting Everton who ever gets it. Ziad says, what do you mean, David Collins? David says, no, dude. Nick says, all the best, pal. Thank you very much. Wayne says, peace, mate. Good video as usual. Thank you very much, Wayne. Reece says, have a good weekend, lad. Thank you very much. Have a good week, sorry. Thank you very much, you too. Toothy says, time to watch Villa smash Newcastle. Oh yeah, that game's on, and I'll have to go down and catch that. David says, growing the channel, Ziad. Thank you very much, David. Ziad says, oh, David. Hazard says, good to see him as always. Silva out, Cam. Thank you very much. And Ziad says, David Collins, are you a moderator? Nobody's a moderator at the minute, but it's definitely something I'm going to look at doing in the future. Anyway, big thanks to everybody for watching once again. Massive thank you for getting involved in the live comments. Massive thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live chat as well. Like I said, if you're watching the YouTube video, leave your comments in the comment section down below. Big thanks for watching. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Don't forget to join us on Wednesday at 6:15 for another live stream. Should be a really interesting one. And we'll see you very further down the line with this absolute shocking situation that we're in as a football club. Zed says, Cam, you look like Pickford. I don't know how to take that, but thank you very much. Good Soul says, cheers, Cam Gracie. Thank you very much, Good Soul. Really do appreciate it. And thanks for all the support, as per usual. Big thanks to everybody for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed. And I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.